Welcome back to Pet Tales. Jacques Deval, the French playwright, once said, "God loved the birds and invented trees. Man loved the birds and invented cages." The debate of whether birds ought to be caged or set free has created quite a few chirps and squawks in the animal world. What is it that's best for our feathered friends? Our avian expert Ranjit Daniels gives us his insights. As man evolved, he domesticated quite a few creatures. Some have taken to it quite well, while others have become victims of cruelty and trauma. With birds, there of course are various species like hens and geese that have now lived alongside humans for years. But there are many others for whom the cage or no cage question has been a very crucial one.
All birds cannot be kept as pets. There are many birds which have a very strong tendency not to stay indoors. But there are a large number of birds which are very comfortable. Even if you have captured it for the first time and you put it in a cage, they don't resist at all. There are birds. Why? We don't know why. Because each bird has its own psychology, its own requirement. For example, birds that migrate, they are very restless. They can't resist flying. Such birds, if you put inside a cage, they don't eat, they don't drink, they keep on, fluttering, they want to be released and they die eventually.
But there are some species of birds that have been domesticated and bred under captivity so much that they can't really be set free. The budgericas, the cockatoos and parrots that are bred in odd colors can't be released back into the wild. But even in cages, there are some rules that we humans strictly need to follow in order to make sure these birds are happy.
So it is not correct to keep birds with clipped wings. Sometimes people don't even know how to properly clip the feathers and then they permanently damage the wing. So in fact, it is better to put them in a large and spacious cage where it is able to fly around freely. It should be given these basic privileges. The right kind of food, keep it infection free. It requires sunlight. At least some part of the day it should be put in the sun.
Love to keep birds at home and yet want to ensure maximum comfort, then an aviary is your best bet.
Aviary is more a kind of a miniature zoo that one keeps at home and where your contact with birds is not so much as you would have it with pets. You don't take the bird in hand and you keep fondling it and then you don't caress it or you don't deal with it. But those birds are given a very nice cage and they are kept with the appropriate habitats and they often have their mates and they tend to breed and so on.
Exotic birds, it's a different ball game altogether. Even if they find great homes with all the comforts, there still is a certain amount of cruelty involved.
When they come in ships, they are put in cartons just like they would put any other good. So a lot of birds die. In fact, people have even estimated that during the trade and the transit, 1 in every 10 bird actually survives. More and more people keep these birds, the fascination grows. Fascination grows that there is immense pressure on trade of these birds out of their natural habitat.
Centuries ago, when man traveled the world and encountered fascinating creatures, he needed to take them back home. Seeing was believing. Today, with technology, you still can see and believe.
Now we have so much of electronic media that can be used to educate people. I very strongly feel that there is no need to keep these birds in large cages just to educate people, because it is possible to educate people through nice video clippings of birds in their real habitat. To see a big flock of scarlet macaws flying and sitting on what they call a salt lick, then start eating the soil there, is more fascinating than seeing a macaw sit in a cage and say macaw. Now that we have certain birds at home, what do we do with them? We cannot take them and release them. We cannot kill them and bury them. We cannot take them and give them away somewhere. So these birds have to remain. What we have to guarantee is that in future no more birds are added. As these birds live and they die, with that slowly, that habit should be weaned away.
Whimsical to open up a cage and set a bird free. But remember, a bird born and brought up in a cage will not survive the wild. All we can perhaps do is to make sure that we don't indulge in or encourage any sort of breeding in captivity, and also make sure that wild birds remain just that, free as a bird. And now, it's time to meet a precious pet from around the city. This is Tuk Tuk. He was rescued from a muddy puddle one very heavy monsoon and dropped off at the Kaswini home. He came in as a minuscule, extremely cute kitten. He still is a super cute cat. The clown of the family, Tuki gets into ridiculously loving moods where he tries to lick your toes, trip you up and purr in your face. Too bad for the family, this usually happens when they're trying to leave for work in a hurry. Tuk Tuk is handsome, strong and macho, just the kind of man you can lean on. Until he opens his mouth and lets out the squeakiest mew any male cat could possibly have. It's what makes us all love him even more. And now it's time to see who's up for adoption. This fond little mongrel pup is the answer to all your pet prayers. Loving and naughty, this boy is about 2.5 months old. He loves to play all kinds of puppy games and loves it even more when you cuddle him. His soft coat and bright eyes full of mischief makes this country pup the perfect pet. And now that summer is here, even more so. This hardy little Indian dog and his siblings are becoming quite the rage. All he needs is a perfect home, just like yours. So hurry and make him your own. Call 9884097862 after 3 p.m. That's all we have for you this week on Pet Tales. Remember to send us your feedback, your pet stories and pictures to feedback@ndtv-hindu.com or call us at 9941322222. Until next time, remember, pets are better people than people.